right. Welcome to another episode of Head to Head Sports. I'm your host, Brian Parker, along with my co-host, Mr. Randall Hargrove. How you doing, sir?
Fine, sir. How are you?
And I am good. I mean, the NFL season starts tomorrow.
Too excited, man. Cannot wait.
Man, you see this grin on my face? Man, I am ready. It's almost like it's just been too long. It's been too long. I liked your post the other day where you were like, this will be the last Sunday without NFL football.
Yeah.
I was just like, yes.
Yes.
That was so great. I was like, yes. Thank you, everybody else, for tuning in for another week of Head to Head Sports. We are streaming live on LinkedIn, Facebook, as well as YouTube. If you're on YouTube, on the Empower TV network on YouTube, please like, share, and subscribe, and always stay up to date with not only head-to-head sports, but any of the other head-to-head programs that we have as well. And the show will also air on our Roku and Amazon Fire TV channel as well. Well, look, we got a lot to get into, but I wanted to kind of go back and give everybody a quick update on what we already picked. Okay, and then we'll get into our last two divisions with the NFC and AFC West. Get into that and already look ahead to our slate of games for week one. Any games that will pique our interest a little bit, and maybe a couple of picks with that. How's that sound?
All good. All good.
All right, so let's start with the AFC East. We got the New York Jets, Buffalo Bills, Miami Dolphins, and New England Patriots. The way I had picked the division ran was pretty much Bills, Dolphins, and I picked Jets, then Patriots.
No faith in New England, huh? No offensive coordinator and all that.
None. You know, I think Bill Belichick tries to be too cute, and it's catching up with him. I mean, I'm not going to downplay any of his genius that he's had and everything, but you know, everybody else starts to get better too. And even when I look at the Jets to see how did they get better than the Patriots on paper? To me, they did. Now it's all really going to depend on how well they can protect Zach Wilson. It's going to depend on how well Zach Wilson, and he didn't start out getting protected too well because he got hurt, but he should be back. But how well does Robert Saleh really develop those guys into getting better? And he seems like a guy that has his locker room's ear. The coaches and the players seem to believe in him, and that's a lot. That has a lot to do with it. With Mac Jones, the best friend of a quarterback is your offensive coordinator. It's that relationship that you have with that person that when you're in the huddle and you hear them giving you the play in your ear, it's that voice. It keeps you calm. It's that one that says, okay, forget about that last play. We're going to run this. So when you get into the huddle, you can look around at those guys in their eyes and exude some confidence in them when you come out with that play. He don't know who the hell's voice he's going to hear. Or Belichick hasn't made it clear whose voice he's going to hear. And whether it's Matt Patricia or Joe Judge, I don't really have any confidence in that either. Yeah. And if it's Bill Belichick, well, to me, he's going to be biting off more than he can chew, calling defense and offense and look at situational plays. That's just too much either way around. So it sounds like he wasn't wowed by having either one of them. And it just seems like to me that the Jets actually, for once, look like they're a little bit more stable than the Patriots are.
Tell you what, the Jets do have. They got the Sauce, baby. Sauce Gardner.
And Sauce does not lack confidence at all.
None. So Sauce Gardner, if you guys don't know who we're talking about, it's the Jets. Was he first or second round draft pick? They did a really good job.
He first. Yeah, Sauce went first.
The Jets did a very good job in the draft. I will give them that.
They did.
I picked the order almost the same as you, except I have Buffalo, Miami. I have New England, just based on, I guess, Bill Belichick. And then I have the Jets not quite ready to take that next step yet. But I could be wrong. I'm admitting that. I could be wrong because one thing that we have learned in the preseason, and the preseason can tell you a lot of things. Those games are not absolute worthless.
Right.
The New England offense is doo-doo. It is
God,
garbage. It
that
is
was the other
garbage.
thing. Yeah,
It is garbage.
they look lost out there.
Yeah. So when we talking head-to-head matchups with Sauce Garden, those so-called wide receivers for New England, it's going to be even more struggle city, man. So you could be right. You could be right.
Yeah, I'm going against the grain a little bit because but how many other years will we have even projected New England to be third? I mean, how long ago would that have been blasphemy to even say third?
Right.
Just because how the mighty have fallen, but to put them in third is even almost as bad as saying fourth because they're so used to being the king of the hill, and the same thing happened when you decided to keep trying to be the same. Everybody else kept getting better, and not only did the Bills do it, not only did Miami do it, but I think the Jets, if they don't beat you out, they're going to make it very uncomfortable to the end. You ain't just going to walk in and get number 3. You damn sure ain't going to get 1 and 2. But you ain't just going to walk in and get 3 either. You're going to feel them breathing down your back the entire season, taking that. Because that number 3 spot, in my opinion, Rand, is going to mean more to the Jets than it will to the Patriots. 3 to them is just as bad as being 4.
Yeah.
But I think from the Jets standpoint, man, if we can do that, that's a little bit of validation for us that we're moving in the right direction. And for a team that basically, when you see them, you just put an L beside their name, you're not going to automatically be able to do that for a fair amount of these games this year. You're going to have to play these games.
Yeah, just to imagine though, a New England team coming in 4th in the East. We have not seen that all this century.
No. Do you think, I know this is crazy to even say, put my lips to it, but do you think if the Patriots finish last, I'm just saying, would they call for Bill Belichick to be gone? Would he be in a hot seat?
Man, we're right here. I was just having that same thought. Yeah, I would say yes. I think they would blow that whole thing. I think they would blow that whole thing. Yep.
Yeah,
maybe even draft a quarterback to compete with old boy Jones. I think they would blow that whole thing up if that happens.
Because really, could Mac Jones, and I know some people are saying Mac Jones is this and he's that. I don't know what Mac Jones is because Mac Jones had a leash on him last year. Mac Jones was not allowed to look past 10 yards and throw that ball down the field most of the time. It was quick outs, handoffs, check downs, and everything else. Dinking and dunking like they always did with Brady for years. So I don't know what Mac can really do in command that offense because they really gave him a scrape down playbook, in my opinion. They didn't really trust him to command that offense that way. And that's not always a bad thing, especially when you start a true rookie out there. You want them to be confident without putting so much in their head that they're trying to process. The game is a lot faster than preseason. The game is a lot faster than college. So getting them to get their cadence right, get their timing right, and everything else is more important than getting them to master an entire playbook. Totally get that. But that can only get you so far. He's going to have to be able to master that playbook. Ask Josh Allen. He's going to have to be able to master that playbook. Ask Kyler Murray. Ask Russell Wilson. They ask Lamar Jackson. You're going to have to keep giving them more and more and more so that their development doesn't end up just standing still. So we will see what jump Mac Jones makes from year 1 to year 2. But what I'm also, Rand, the way I always see this too, when you're a rookie, nobody has a lot of tape on you from the NFL. Once you're in year 2, they got 17 games of tape to look at you and pick apart what you like to do, what you don't like to do, what things seem to make you a little bit uncomfortable. He's definitely not going to be a quarterback that you're going to have to worry about moving around a lot. So constant pressure in front of him, if you can rush him with 3 or 4, it's going to be hard on him. I mean,
Uh-oh.
whew. Yeah, anyway, so sorry, New England fans, but yeah, I just don't feel very high for you this year. I really think you're coming in fourth. I think the Jets did a lot more from their if I looked at the weapons that Zach Wilson has and the weapons that Mac Jones has, yeah, I mean,
It's the Jets. Yeah, it's the
God.
Jets.
I'm gonna talk you into it. You're gonna come back to me before the end of the show and be like, you know what? I'm gonna go with this damn Jets for 3.
You know, if it was anybody but New England, I would agree. But
I
I
know
just whoa.
you're using
It just
Belichick as the X factor.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
I got you. I totally got you. All right, let's look at the AFC North. We've got the Ravens, the Steelers, the Doo-Doo Browns, and the Bengals. And the way I picked it was Cincinnati 1, Baltimore 2, Pittsburgh 3, Cleveland 4, with the caveat that depending on how well Trubisky or Kenny Pickett plays, it could elevate Pittsburgh enough. If Lamar stays healthy, I just find that hard to believe, especially if he does not get a contract signed before the season starts. I believe he is going to play out of his mind.
Yeah, we're in absolute agreement with that division. I had it lined up the exact same way. Trubisky is gonna have to show me before I believe it. So
Yeah, I mean, because he slighted you so many times that you want to believe what everybody's saying that, yeah, that year in Buffalo really, kind of gave him his purpose and everything back and everything. But we got game tape to look at, and it's a mixed bag. When Trubisky uses his ability to run, it does make him better. I am interested, though. He didn't have that ability in Chicago. I will give him that. I do think that if they use him on more design rollouts, a lot more play action, that he will have the opportunity to be a little bit more successful there. I think for Pittsburgh, a lot of those receivers, like a Claypool, didn't get their shine a lot because Big Ben was just a standing target. I mean, he wasn't going to be able to just, 3-step drop, take 2 steps up into the pocket, buy some time for the receivers to get downfield and stuff like that. I think having either Pickett or Trubisky back there will also help take a lot of the load off Najee Harris for having to be not only your Swiss Army knife, but whatever you're cutting the Army knife with. He had to be everything and then some. And if you continuously wear and tear on him, he's going to give you 4 good years and then look like Zeke or Todd Gurley. And the list goes on. So by the time it's time for him to get that second contract, they ain't going to do nothing. They just going to look at him and say, no, you play out your 5th year and we'll talk about it at the end of the year.
Yep. 320 some carries is way too many freaking carries. They're going to have to distribute that some way, somehow this year. And as far as your point with Trubisky or Pickett, whichever quarterback they end up going with, well, they're going to go with Trubisky to start the season, but I doubt he goes the whole season. We'll see. But whichever quarterback ends up being in the game, they're going to have to roll him out that pocket because that pocket and that offensive line is going to get somebody murdered.
Yeah. And you know what? When you're a number one, I got 2 things. When you're number one, but it doesn't really feel like a number one. And what I mean by that is that if you even remotely struggle, heads going to keep turning to that bench looking at that rookie. If you're the number one, you get a little bit more grace and a little bit more lenience. You make a couple bad throws. You ain't worried that the rookie's on the side throwing the ball back and warming up like he about to come in.
Yeah.
It's like watching a baseball game. And if a pitcher pitches a home run, they ain't automatically looking to the bullpen like, no, now. Normally they'll give you a couple more pitches to see if you can work yourself back into the pitch, right?
Yeah.
But with Trubisky, I just kind of feel like he's going to kind of be wound up because if he makes a handful of mistakes, but see, here's the thing. They don't want to go to the rookie too fast because if you do this in reverse, then you just killed your rookie. Is that if you start him and then you got to pull him back, then you're going to kill his confidence. So I think they'd rather start the other way and see how much they can get out of Mitch before they go to that solution. That way they can at least say, we tried to give the vet everything and it just wasn't working out. So we went with the rookie because we didn't have nothing to lose. Or if they get so far down in the standings where they really have nothing to play for, then you have nothing to lose but to just take the Band-Aid off and see what it is you got.
Yeah, I'm really hoping for Trubisky. Woo, I almost called him something else. I always call him on the water cooler. But yeah, I'm really hoping for him. I hope he could take us to the playoffs. I do. But I could tell you what, he's on a very short leash, especially with the fans in Pittsburgh and Kenny Pickett being the home state kid. He's already played his entire college career right there in that same stadium. That is not going to help Trubisky hold on to that job at all if he makes
exactly. He's the hometown kid. They're rooting for him. Trubisky's the carpetbagger. He's just coming in. He has no ties to Philadelphia. I mean, not Philadelphia, to Pittsburgh or the state of Pennsylvania. So, yeah, he's like the outsider. How dare you take our hometown guy's job? So, they serious about that in Pittsburgh, man.
Oh, they have no patience for quarterbacks in Pittsburgh. Nope.
So, yeah, you better come in there and give them something to really believe in, or they will forget your name real quick. They don't care if you Mitch or Mitchell. They're gonna be ready to dump you into the fire heap. So, the trash heap. So, you better get it done and get it done early. And he just might. He really just might. If everything else just plays out, he's definitely in a better situation in Chicago, from management to coaching to everything else. So he at least has that opportunity. From what I heard, he did very well in camp and preseason games. He didn't look terrible. So we'll see how it goes. But do you think that with the AFC being as competitive as it is, do you honestly see 3 teams that can make it out of the North into the playoffs, or the division and potentially a wild card?
I guess we will get to who we got going to the playoffs at some point. Okay, so
okay,
I will save that talk, but I don't have Pittsburgh in there. I don't.
Okay. Yeah, I got them at a winning season, but I don't have them in the playoffs. Just and not because they're not good enough. Some of these teams that will go through, man, they're just in a brutal division. And if you don't win your division, the wild card is not a lot for a lot of these. There's a lot of teams this year that will win 11 and 12 games and will be sitting in the same place I am during the playoffs.
Yeah, the competition in the AFC is going to be absolute killer, man.
It's going to be brutal. Yeah. It is going to be absolutely brutal. With that, we had the AFC South. We had the Houston Texans, the Tennessee Vikings, Indianapolis Colts, and the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Titans.
Yeah. I know that we had, if I remember correctly, our 1 and 2 inversed. I had Tennessee, Indianapolis. God, did I have Jacksonville and then Houston? I think
I talked you into that.
Yeah, I believe so. I believe it was Jacksonville and then Houston. So, but didn't you have Indy and then Tennessee?
Yes, I had Indy, Tennessee, Jacksonville, Houston.
Yeah, and I can definitely see that. I did the same thing with Tennessee that you did with New England. I gave him the nod with Vrabel coaching and being in that system for as long as he has now, and his players playing for him. You are right, though. If Matt Ryan can use the tools around him, there's no reason that they can't be number 1. They were almost right there at it last year. So it's one of those things, like I said, with the Patriots, that if you're going to be number 3, you're going to have to almost earn it. You're going to have to fight to be number 3 because the one right behind you is trying to hurdle you. I kind of feel that way with the Colts. I think what's been standing in their way all this time has been the Titans. Is this the year that they'll finally be able to say, Titans who? You mean that team behind us? if they're going to do it, this is the year that they're going to have to do it. Tennessee is going to have to prove that they can win without having A.J. Brown on the field, and that Derrick Henry and Ryan Tannehill can figure out how to get other guys involved and make up for what they lost in A.J. Brown. They did get Woods from the Rams. When healthy, he is a pretty decent receiver. So we will see is he going to be a number one? Is he going to be a great number two? That's yet to be determined. But until proven otherwise, that's the only reason that I put Tennessee. I guess I kind of gave Tennessee a pass just because of what they've done in their whole body of work. But every season is a new season. Everybody starts out 0-0. So you can't bring what you did last year into this year. Don't roll over like 401k does. So you could be very well. I mean, I can very well see Indianapolis finishing number one. Would not surprise me at all. It would surprise me to see Houston finish ahead of Jacksonville. If Houston finishes ahead of Jacksonville, there's something wrong in Jacksonville.
Agreed.
Yeah, more than there's something right in Houston. All right. Let's go on to the NFC least. We have the Dallas Cowgirls, the New York Giants, the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Washington Commanders. I called it early, and I think I see more and more people, more and more pundits on air coming to my side on this. So it's kind of funny. And maybe my Cowboy hate played a role into this. Maybe it was the fact that no team in the NFC least has won the division back-to-back in quite some time. Maybe, again, it's because I looked at the Cowboys and said, what did you do to get better? And what did the Eagles, for instance, do to get better? I see the Eagles number one, Cowboys number two, the Commanders number three, and the Giants number four.
Yep, and we were very close on this one as well. I originally had it when I did this months ago, or weeks ago, I should say, had Dallas, Washington, Philadelphia, and then New York. But with the amount of just additions that Philly has made, I've been really, really impressed with those, man. So I have it now officially: Dallas, Philadelphia, Washington, and then New York.
Fair.
I think Philly is going to be very, very good this year. I really think.
Yeah, I think, when you talk to coaches around the league, one of the things that they always talk about when they break out in NFL season, when it was 16 games, it was easier to use this analogy, but they said that they would break it down into 4 quarters, first quarter, second, third, and fourth. And Dallas's first 6 games are brutal. I mean, woo! I mean, it's brutal, man. They play. I'm gonna tell you, for anybody that doesn't understand why I say this, not just because, I just love the Cowboys. So, but when you look at their first 6 games, it is okay. I don't need to see this picture of Dak. They start out with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Okay. That's going to be pretty tough. They start out with Tampa Bay. Then they play Cincinnati. So you're either 1-1 or 2-0, 0-2. I'm a side more with 0-2. Then week 3, you get the Giants, and week 4, you get the Commanders. So now I'm going to say 2-2. Okay. Then the next 2 weeks, which goes into the second half, the first half of the second quarter, is you get the Rams at Rams. Scott says, let's go Cowboys. Nice. Then you also, week 6, early into the season, you get the Eagles in Philadelphia. This is why I'm going. There is a high possibility that after 6 games, the Cowboys could be 2-4. Yeah, call me for Mike McCarthy's head.
That sounds strongly like 2-4.
I mean, if you're lucky, that's 2-4. If you're lucky, bro, if you trip up and let the Giants or the Commanders beat you, Mike McCarthy, bye-bye. Dan Quinn, come on in. that's if they could go to it. Listen, if they go 2-4 and they beat the Giants and the Commanders, they may be okay. The fans will be calling for his head after losing to Tampa Bay. That's just the fans. But if you go 2-4 and your 2 wins were against the Commanders and the Giants, okay. But if you end up 1-5 and it was because you lost to one of the aforementioned teams, bro, it's a wrap. Yeah,
I mean, you might Stephen A. Smith.
You might be a coach, but you a dead man standing, a dead man walking. You don't even know you. It's one thing to be dead; it's another thing to be walking around dead and don't know it. And that's what he
watching First Take every single morning, man. If they start off 1-5,
bruh, I will too, because I already watch it now just to hear the little playback that they did from last year with the music and everything. It's just so hilarious to watch that clip of all of the bad stuff that happened. So Jermaine says, do you think Hurts will stay healthy? Jermaine, that's a good question. I think Hurts can stay healthy. He's not a really wiry dude. If Hurts has a lot of good running backs on his team. So I would hope that most of his runs are more designed runs. Because you need to have a sense of threat for the defense not to just try to stack 8, 9 in the box to stop your running game, which they're going to do, whether it's Gaineswell out there, whether it's Miles Sanders, whomever the running back is, whether it's Boston Scott, it doesn't matter. They will try to stack the box unless they feel like if they pull a couple of RPOs and they think that they're stopping the running back, but the quarterback never let go of the ball, that's going to make a lot of defenses freeze from doing that. So when Hurts is running as a design play versus running for his life because the line isn't protecting him, he will have more opportunities to get hurt, in my opinion, when he's not running on purpose. When you're having to run for your life and somebody gets you from the blind side and stuff like that, that's where you end up with those ankle sprains and stuff like that can really sideline you. When he's doing the design runs, it's a little bit, not that you can't get hurt with a design run, but you are a little bit more in control because you know where you want him to go. When you're running for your life, you got to go where you can go, and that's it. So I think depending on how he runs will determine if he can make it through the season slightly nicked up or if they're going to end up knocking him out for a couple of games. Michael Vick is always the one I always go back and think of that would just have some of the best legs in the world but could never play an entire season because of the way he plays. The way he plays, the way Lamar plays, the way Trey Lance is going to play, the way Justin Fields plays, the way Kyler Murray plays, that always puts all of them in risk of injury. So we'll see if they are using their gifts. And the same thing with Dak. They're talking about Dak is fully healthy this year, so maybe he'll be able to run around a little bit more and extend plays with his legs. We'll see. But Dak is bow-legged too. So we'll see how well he can run on them bow legs. We'll see. If you ever watch his stance, you can tell he's bow-legged as hell. And they just run. It looks funny when they bow-legged people run anyway. That's just a side comment there. But so, yeah, I think Hurts has a good chance if he uses his backs around him and is more of a threat than an option. If he's a threat to take off and run instead of being like Lamar where he's option 1, 2, and then dump off to Mark Andrews, then that's another thing. If they use him that way, then it's less chance of him getting hurt. Yeah, Rand, I really think the Cowboys have a lot more going against them in the beginning of the season. They're used to like beating up on the NFC least the first 3 games, start out 3-0, and the Cowboy fans are all jumping around like they're about to go to the Super Bowl or they've already won the Super Bowl. I can never tell. I can never tell with them because it's October and they're jumping around like, the world is great. And I'm just looking at them like, there's like 10 more games, y'all. Like, just ease into it. That's all I'm saying. But they buy this miracle thing every single year, and for the last 20 something years, 26 years now, they've been getting fooled. So we'll see how that goes. All right, you got your NFC North. We have the Chicago Bears, Green Bay Packers, Detroit Lions, and Minnesota Vikings. I believe I picked Packers, Vikings. You convinced me, and you were right. Lions and then Bears. I think that's how we had it. Is that right?
Yeah, that's how I had it. Yep.
Yeah, just for all of the again, this to me is the New England Jets deal where the team that's been at the bottom so long has slowly but surely. Now, I'll say slowly but surely, but let's be honest, because they've been so horrible, they get good draft picks. So, but I've seen the Lions do more to their roster than the Bears.
Absolutely. I mean, Chicago, they lost their whole freaking defense.
Yeah, they're a mess. Coaches,
yeah,
everything. So
mess.
not that losing their coaches is a bad thing. They needed to, but
yeah, they're starting over there, starting over with new offensive coordinators. I mean, it's a complete start over for a young quarterback. I just see them having some big time struggles. But meanwhile, you got Dan Campbell, who I didn't always think was a good hire, but now I kind of think he does. He definitely has the locker room. And he has those guys motivated, man, like really, really motivated.
And he's getting the most as he can out of Jared Goff. Jared Goff has a lot to prove. He's trying to prove people wrong that, hey, the Rams gave up on me and Detroit has embraced me and stuff like that. So we'll see how that goes. But I agree. Detroit's upside is way higher than Chicago. They're both heading in two totally different directions. I think this is the year where Detroit comes out of the cellar of the NFC North. Yeah,
Detroit played a lot of teams tough, especially the second half of the season.
They were in a lot of those games.
They were in a lot of games.
It just came down to who had the ball last.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, they lost games just because if they would have had the ball one more time in a lot of those games, I could have seen them winning 3 more games.
Yeah,
against some really good teams.
They tied us on our home field, but I mean, they definitely could have beat us. Could have beat us. Yep.
And that's the thing. You got to learn how to win. When you get in those really, really close games, you got to learn how to win. Learn how to close it out. You can play close and everything else, and then some teams will just end up beating you just because they know how to win more and stuff like that. It's going to come down to that. The NFC South, we looked at that. We've got the Carolina Panthers, Atlanta Falcons, New Orleans Saints, and then we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And the way I called this one, Tampa Bay, New Orleans, Carolina, and Atlanta.
I got New Orleans and Carolina switched.
I think I might have originally called Carolina to be number 2. And I could still go either way with that. I think it's going to be really, really close because I don't really know what New Orleans is, but I'm going to tell you what. If Jameis Winston can get on the same page as Chris Olave, Jarvis Landry, and Michael Thomas, he might throw for 5,000 again. He just won't have him 30. I don't think he'll have 30 interceptions to go with it, but I can see him going well over 5,000.
They're tough. They are tough.
Then you got Kamara, who can catch the ball out of the backfield too. You got Ingram, who can catch the ball out of the backfield too. Those count as passes when he throws the ball forward. So,
they're tough, man.
Now they may be. See, Rand, I don't know if it'll equate to wins, but it will equate to offensive production. Same like Dallas had a high scoring offense and couldn't get out of the first round of the playoffs. Green Bay Packers, high scoring offense, can't get out of the playoffs, can't get to the NFC Championship game. Baltimore Ravens, high profile offense, can't get to the playoffs or get out of the first round of the playoffs. So I see some teams that, during the year they just set the league on fire with their scoring and everything, but it doesn't mean any kind of sustained success other than you win enough games where you don't get low enough draft picks to improve your team. So either you trade up in the draft or you take a mediocre draft pick that does nothing to instantly impact your team.
Yeah. Carolina got Baker Mayfield, and that's good and everything, but I'm even more impressed with them defensively. I think Carolina is going to have a really, really good defense this year. They displayed that last year. They got worn out a lot of games because the offense couldn't do anything.
Yes.
So I think that's going to roll over into this year. I mean, they got J.C. Horn on one side. If they could just stay healthy, they got Horn on one side of that secondary. They got Dante Jackson on the other side, Jeremy Chin for the safety. They got Ioannidis in the middle, a big man-eating defensive lineman down there to go with Derek Brown. Not Brown. Yeah, we have Brown. So they're just stacked.
And they got Brian. They got Brian Spider-Man Burns.
And they got Spider-Man Burns on that
quarterback,
line
man.
Yeah. So if they stay healthy, I mean, they could really, really do some damage defensively, and I think that'll keep them in a lot of games.
Yeah, and Shaq still is holding up the middle. He's doing his thing in the middle.
Yeah, Shaq is good too. So
yeah, so no, I agree with you. That was the only reason that I pull back on their defense, because if the offense makes the defense look ordinary because they're not holding up their end of the bargain, sustaining drives, not changing field position too quickly, where 3 and out punt, defense back on the field, 3 and out punt, defense back on the field, stupid turnover, interception, fumbling the ball, whatever it is, defense got to run back out there after making a nice 4th and 1 stop, or those are very emotional when it's 4th and 1 and you're keeping the other team from getting that first down and you do it. That's very emotional for defense. They go over there, they feel good about themselves. Everybody feels amped up. They don't want 2 minutes later to have to be getting called to put the helmets back on. They got to go back in.
It's demoralizing.
It is. What did we just do all of that? A 4th and 1, and we got to be back out there in 2 minutes?
I remember the Minnesota game. They were in that Minnesota game. Darnold throws an interception. Defense runs out, does its job, stops, and Darnold comes right back and throws another interception. That stuff is demoralizing.
That is. That is. And over the course of a season, that can just get to a point where they'll just start to give up, because it's like, what's the point?
Chicago.
Exactly. We could play our best and it won't even matter.
Chicago Bears. Yep.
So it's one of those things where you gotta keep your defense fresh. Some of the best defenses are the ones that you don't have to use as much, because your offense is just methodically, and it don't have to be a high power offense where every play is a first down, but 1st and 10, 2nd and 5, 3rd and 3, convert, 1st and 10 all over again. Just those methodical drives, because then if you're doing that, what are you doing? You're wearing out that team's defense.
Yeah. I mean, it's a balance, man. I mean, you don't think the LA Rams offense helped their defense get to the Super Bowl?
Time.
I mean, come on, man.
If having Matthew Stafford with Cooper Kupp and Odell and all those guys out there keeping Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey and at the time Von Miller nice and fresh, if you don't think that had just as much to do with it, then you're missing it.
Yeah,
of course it did.
Of course.
Yeah, I mean, that's how you get symmetry. That's how you play together. Your offense complements your defense and vice versa. So definitely that's how they did it. And yeah, I could go back and forth with Carolina and New Orleans. I really need to see how Jameis really works with Olave. I think between the 3 receivers, Olave is going to be dynamic. I saw enough of this cat in preseason. I saw definitely enough of him at Ohio State, just to know. And Rand, might I add, even though this is NFL, that Florida State LSU game, oh my God, I'm glad I was sitting down for that.
That was classic stuff, man.
I mean, opening game for them. I think Florida State had already played a game. But my God, they brought it. I mean, 98, 97-yard drive with a little bit of time to go. They get all the way down the field. And, I mean, I'm thinking, oh, my God, LSU is going to come back and win this game. And it was It was amazing. That was an amazing game.
Blocked the extra point for the win. I don't think I've ever seen it.
Unbelievable. I'm just like, this game is crazy. I'm literally upstairs in my office screaming. I know my wife was probably like, what is wrong with him? That game was awesome. Then, of course, I'm watching the North Carolina Appalachian game at my mom's house, and she probably thought I was nuts. She was watching it with me, and she was just as going crazy too. Just because that game looked more like a basketball score. It was crazy. No defense, but plenty of offense. Appalachian State scores 40 points in the fourth quarter. You obviously aren't playing any defense.
Absolutely ridiculous, man.
I just wanted to throw that out there because that was on my mind, dude. I was just like, I don't know if I can watch a full season of college and NFL because I felt like after the first 2 days of that, man, I thought I was going to fall out.
I'm so glad football is back. I'm so glad football is back. Man. This is the greatest time of the year.
Yeah,
you got college football, you got pro football, you got the MLB playoffs about to start, and you got NBA around the corner too.
NBA around the corner and college basketball around the corner. So yeah, this is the Mecca, man. This is crazy. I already told my wife. I said, listen, this is how it goes. Thursday, NFL. Friday, high school football. Saturday, college football. Sunday and Monday, NFL. So if you need anything from me, text me on Tuesday or Wednesday.
Right.
Because if you send it to me on Thursday, don't be mad because it takes 5 days to hear back. I'm just letting you know. There may be a little delay in response if you send me something on Thursday. I'm just saying. But yeah, so it's gonna be crazy. I always tell the ladies that watch the show, listen, you can get a lot off of me and Rand, and then when you're talking to your husband and he watching the game and you mention something about a certain kind of defense or something like that, he look at you and be like, wow, how do you know that? You know, he'll be impressed. So we're a good show for our ladies out there because now you can show up to these NFL parties and not just sit there and be quiet, but actually sit there and call out something and be like, look, you can tell they're about to do a zero blitz. Look, safety coming from the side. They showing blitz. They show and you do to look at you like, what? Wait, how do you know that? Mm-hmm. That's what we're here for. There's a public service announcement. Me and Rand gonna get you ladies ready for the NFL season. We don't want you to just be casual observers. We want y'all to have some more intricacies of the game and everything. So keep an eye out. Submit those questions. We'll give you some little nuggets to take back, and they'll be looking at you all week like, yo, bro, your wife is pretty cool, man. She understands the game. So, hey, I'm telling you, just keep watching. All right, Rand. So, look, we're down to our last two conferences, 8 teams. We got the NFC West. We got the San Francisco 49ers, the Arizona Cardinals, the LA Rams, and we have the Seattle Seahawks. I'm going to just go ahead and give you my list, and then we can break out the teams. I saw your man Paul Copeland post in the water cooler. Basically, it's the Rams and then whoever else is 2 through 4, whatever.
San Francisco. He's a San Francisco man.
Yeah. He loves San Francisco. Paul, I ain't there yet. I would like to be there, but I ain't there yet. My order is going to be LA, San Francisco, Arizona, and Seattle.
That's exactly how I have them lined up. Sorry, Paul.
Yeah, you're gonna get them beat. Dudes gonna think they're cheating. Oh, my brother, that's what my brother just said. You're gonna get them beat. Dudes gonna think they're cheating. If the women come up with too much knowledge, they're gonna think they was hanging around some other dude. Well, then, Jermaine, that'll be a good time for them to say when they say, "How do you know this?" Say, "You didn't know I subscribe to Head to Head Sports with Brian Parker and Randall Hargrove. Catch them every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Maybe you'll learn something too." See, the only reason they're going to want to beat them, Jermaine, is because they're going to figure out that, hey, maybe my wife knows more than I do. Anyway, and they'll be exposed. So, but yeah, you're right. That might end up breaking up a happy home. But I'm here for it. Anyway, So yeah, I've got LA Rand just pretty much still king of the pack because I really think that um, they're still just better. I think that they're still better than uh, what it is that San Francisco has. San Francisco, yeah, they still have Debo. Yeah, they still have. Well, they got rid of Mostert, but they still have Elijah Mitchell as their running back. But now Garoppolo, trust the experts. Thank you, Jermaine. They still have. They've got Garoppolo as a backup. Trey Lance, we don't know what Trey Lance is, so we will see that. You still got Brandon Ayuk as one of your receivers. So you're good there. You got George Kittle as your tight end. You still got some really, really good pieces with San Francisco, but I need to see what they're going to do with this rookie. I think you can't hide him like a Mac Jones. He's got to be involved in your offense. And I know Kyle Shanahan plays to the strengths of his quarterbacks. I will give him all the credit in the world for that. I'm not worried about that. I think they'll be a good team. I think they'll be a playoff team. But do I think that they will end up beating out the Rams for the division? Nah, don't see it.
We feel the exact same way about that. I mean, LA is just still loaded, man. I mean, from last year to this year, it's crazy to say, but it looks like they got a little better.
I agree.
And they got Allen Robinson the second, which is a wide receiver from Chicago. They rescued him out of Chicago.
They did.
That dude is dope. So you add him with Cooper Kupp and Van Jefferson. Ooh, that's a hell of a trio right there for Matt Stafford to throw to. And they got Cam Akers coming back from injury. I don't think he's lost anything. He's backed up.
No, when he came back last year, he looked like he didn't miss a step. And I was like, what?
They got Higbee as a very capable tight end. And they got Darrell Henderson backing up Akers. So they still got a lot of weapons.
They lost Von Miller on the defense.
Yep,
but then they go out there and snag Bobby Wagner.
Yes, they got Bobby Wagner from Seattle, man. So, I mean, it looks like they got better. They got a strong secondary with Taylor Rapp and Jalen Ramsey back there. And they also got the man in the middle. You know who I'm talking about. So he didn't retire. He's back. So
yeah, Mr. Donald is coming back and direct have it, he's in contention already before he gets a snap. It's him, Mike Parsons, and TJ Watt for early preseason defensive player of the year. So
it takes two men to move him.
Yeah. And, even if you don't see his numbers show up in stats like sacks and things like that, because you have to commit two players to him, other guys will eat. You're going to have to pick your poison. Either Aaron Donald is taking you down, or you got to have 2 and 3 guys on him and somebody else gets let loose. So you're going to have to pick your poison. A lot of teams will not have the luxury of being able to do that. You don't have running backs big enough to chip a lot of defensive ends like that, or play a lot of interior guys. That's just not the way it's that little chips, little stuff like that. But if they don't get them on the ground with them chips and they still coming, your quarterback is done. So, and they run a 3-4. If they can get enough pressure with those 3 without having to bring another one up.
Yeah, well, you got somebody in the middle that can blow up the freaking line. I mean, it pushes everything back right in the quarterback's lap. It affects the whole offense.
Yeah.
And Donald is that dude, man.
What quarterback wants to take a 3-step drop and the center is right there in his lap?
Exactly. And that's what will happen every time.
That's what's going to happen.
2 men on Donald.
Y'all will hear a lot of stuff over the season about playing the gaps and gap assignments and gap integrity and things like that. And that's what I'm talking about with them. When you have a 3-4 defense, that means you have 3 up front rushing. If those 3 can create enough penetration and leverage, then what it does is it kills your middle game, because your tight ends and a lot of your slot receivers like to try to get loose in the middle of the field. If they're not having to commit as many defensive players to that, or on obvious passing plays. Now, on run plays, those 4 will come up, because what they're trying to do is fill in the gaps so that the running back can't break first level and then make it out of the first level and try to make somebody miss to gain extra yards. So it really depends on if it's a passing play, obvious passing play. Now, good teams can sit there and mix it up with a little play action, make you think they're handing the ball off, and then it's going to be a quick pass out. That freezes the defense a little bit, so they can't commit to just jamming up the middle with the run. They also have to wait and see if you faking it and then try to recover to the receivers for the passes. So it loosens them up a little bit when you can get into that play action. But if they can just stand there all game and rush 3 and let those other 4 in the back just do their thing, you're going to have a long day. You're going to have a long day. And I've seen Aaron Donald chase down receivers just as much as coming up in the middle, taking down a running back, or even worse, getting to the quarterback. So if y'all don't account for that man with 2, 3, 4 people, he going to get you. He going to get you. So
he is a running tree stump.
He is running tree. He is a grown man. He is a grown man. So you got the Raiders, the 49ers there. The Cardinals, to me, are number 3 just because Seattle's that bad.
Yeah, I agree. I got I got the Cardinals at number 3. I think old boy can study the playbook enough to get him to number 3 at least.
Yeah, I mean, 4 hours of homework, I guess, will get you to be the 3rd best team in. You know, this is a question Jermaine asked earlier about Jalen Hurts. I've always worried about Kyler Murray staying healthy, and I still do. First and foremost, I'll just say it here. I wouldn't have gave him a dime. You ain't proved nothing. You can look, bro, you can take me off your social media post. Don't care. You can, if that's how these young cats express their displeasure by, bro, what happened to when I'm mad at you, I just don't talk to you. You're dead to me that way. Now I just take you off my social media. You can't see my post. That's how the team finds out now that there might be a problem because you're not on my Instagram anymore.
Brian, okay, dude, whatever. I'm with you, man. I would have let that dude walk. To me. Peace. Listen, especially this year. I mean, you're not going to no playoffs. And you got a great class of quarterbacks coming out in the draft. I would have let him walk. What happened
to when Cam Newton used to sit on the sidelines and sulk, and they would say that that's unbecoming of a quarterback because the quarterback is the face of the franchise, and you never see Tom Brady or Drew Brees or Peyton Manning or anybody else do that. Why is Cam Newton doing that? Da 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 da. He's supposed to be the quarterback. He's not supposed to be doing all those celebrations and things like that. He's supposed to be more reserved. Da 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 da. Okay, Kyler Murray sitting there scrubbing Instagram posts.
Same childish behavior.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? I'm just like, okay, come on. So I just think it was childish. I think he did a lot of crime. But you know what he also did? That's going to be a side effect of this. You just put a target on your back, bro. You really did. Because now with more money comes more expectations. You already hadn't done anything. You have the most up-down seasons out there where you start off hot and then you flail off. And it's no surprise that you flail off because you've been taking a lot of hits during the season. It starts to catch up with you. But now when they start to pay you that top quarterback money, Kyler, even when your line isn't as good, even when your receivers aren't that good, it reminds me from a scene from Friday when Smokey's mom wants him to go to the store. And Smokey turns back and looks at her and says, wait. This ain't enough. And she turns back at him and she says, make
it enough.
Kyler, make it enough. That's what they expecting you to do. They gave you the money. Sup, CJ? Sup, y'all? Kyler, they're going to want you to make it enough. Whatever that team is lacking, you're going to have to stand in the gap and make it enough.
Yeah, you wanted the money.
That's what they're paying you to do. That's what you
wanted the money. You sulked. You got the money. Now they want results. That's the way it works.
No excuses. None of that. Starting out 8-0 and then flailing and losing 7 of the last whatever games. 7 of the last 9 games. You ain't gonna be able to do that, bro. You ain't gonna be able to start 8-0 and then finish 2-7. That ain't gonna work.
So he don't have his best weapon, Hopkins, for the first 6 weeks of the season. That's going to be a major loss. Major.
And Christian Kirk, say what you want, but he's gone.
Gone. So
you don't have him.
Yep.
Your receivers
have to make a lot work in that first 6 weeks.
You got Marquise Brown, AJ Green isn't there anymore.
AJ Green's there.
Oh, okay. Uh, I thought he was on the practice squad. No, no. I'm thinking about my other man. So AJ Green is there, and then you got Rondell Moore. Good luck with that. Zach Ertz will be your primary receiver, or James Conner will be your primary receiver. James Conner is going to be your every down back, and then they're going to mix it up with some other backs as well. Like I said, I think you're going to be third out of default.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I don't see this team any better than they were last year. I see them worse.
They are worse.
And I think paying that quarterback because he had a hissy fit is not going to be a good look for you. I know that you want him to be that guy, but he's a guy that runs around. He has a small frame. He's not like Jalen Hurts. Jalen is a lot bigger than Kyler Murray. When Kyler gets hit, I don't know if he's going to get up. When Jalen gets hit, sometimes I think he wants to get hit. So it's two different types of quarterbacks here. I see Kyler running more because he has to than Jalen will have to run because he has to.
It's so funny when I see Kyler Murray running on the field. He looks like a little nerd running away from school bullies.
Right. Like I got to run to live.
Yeah.
I'm running because I'm trying to save my life. That's how he looks. He runs running scared and running with a purpose is two totally different things. And I think he's going to run scared this year more than he's running because it's a design run. He's going to run because coverage breaks down and the line is starting to collapse and he has no choice. He's going to be putting his body in harm's way. If he makes it the entire season, I will be the first person that is surprised. I just don't see it. I don't see him running out of bounds. I see him taking a lot of unnecessary hits. I see him getting hit from his blind side and not even knowing it until he's down on the ground and the ball wobbling in front of him, loose, waiting for somebody to scoop it up. I just see that happening. I really do.
He's like RG3 was in Washington. You know, what he had that first good year in Washington, and then all the years after that, the fans were just waiting for him to get hurt. I mean, what game is it going to be?
Coming. It wasn't.
You know it's coming.
It was
Which game
weird.
is it? Which game is it? Yep. Which game is it going to be?
Yeah. Oh, that's hilarious. All right, and then lastly, Seattle. What needs to be said about Seattle? Smith is the starter, and Drew Lock is his backup.
Enough said.
That's pretty much it. I feel sorry for two people on that team, and that is DJ Metcalf and Tyler Lockett.
Yeah.
I am so sorry. and I'm sorry for anybody that was fool enough to draft them in any of their fantasy drafts. Yes. I don't know why the hell you would do that, but I wouldn't start them. They wouldn't be my second, and they damn sure won't be my third. Do not, if you got Tyler Lockett and you got DJ Metcalf, act like they on the injured reserve. Do not play them. Go ahead and trade them. Even if you got to trade them for Aguilar, or you got to trade them for, you pick the guy. I mean, you might as well. You might as well put Gronkowski on it. I'm just telling you, you're not going to get anything out of them. Geno's a good guy for spot work, but naming him as your 17-week starter.
They're going to be two very bored, very frustrated wide receivers this year.
Just sitting out there halfway running routes because they'll never see the ball sail to them. They are not going to go full speed at all because why? If anything, the only person that's going to benefit is Rashad Penny because he's going to get a lot of checkdowns. When that offensive line doesn't hold up and he needs to get rid of that ball, or he's going to throw the ball into the ground a lot, it's either the ground is going to be the top receiver or Penny is going to be the top receiver. The ground might end up getting the ball more than anybody, though.
Yeah, it's like the GM on down through the coaching staff is telling you pretty much, if you can read between lines and players are not stupid, this is a tank year.
There's a tank year.
You think players don't pick up on that, man?
Yeah, because when they look around and they looking around like
they know.
I'm supposed to win with these dogs. No, you're not.
You think I'm giving 101% for
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, I don't know what their cap number is. I'd have to find out, but I'm pretty sure they got a lot of cap room.
Yes.
I bet you they got a lot of cap room. All right, so let's turn over to the AFC West, and we have
you saved the most brutal for
boy,
last.
this is the
Good
most
God.
brutal division in football, hands down. You got the Denver Broncos, you got the Las Vegas Raiders, you got the Los Angeles Chargers, and you got the Kansas City Chiefs. Okay, Ram, this is what I got. And I'm going to use one of Stephen A. terms. This is definitely fluid. This can move easily. I got Kansas City. I got the Chargers. I got the Raiders, and I got the Broncos.
Hey, bro, we there again. I lined it up like that too, but it was not easy. It was
no. So here's the thing. Would I be surprised if it was the Chargers, Chiefs, Raiders, Broncos? No. Would I be surprised if it's the Chargers, Raiders, Chiefs, Broncos? No. Would I be surprised if it's the Chiefs, Chargers, Broncos, Raiders? No.
That division is so close. Just an injury here or injury there could flip the whole freaking division. What happens if Mahomes goes down?
Right.
Come on. Denver could win.
That's why this is fluid. Because one and see, here's the other thing. They got to beat each other up.
Yeah. And they will be.
So what it's really going to come down to me is who you play outside your division.
Mm-hmm.
Those are going to be just as important as your division games. Yes, you need to win your division games. That goes without saying. But I see a lot of splits. You come to our place, we're going to beat you. We go to your place, you're going to beat us. I don't see any of these games where I can say the Chiefs are going to play the Broncos twice and win both games. I don't see an instance where the Raiders are going to play the Chargers twice and win both games, or vice versa.
Hell no.
I mean, that's going to be hard to do. Yeah, so if you're 1-1 against these teams, and the best you can do is be 3-3 out of the 6 games.
I just really see this division as splitting hairs this year. It's going to be really, really hard. And that being said, I can't wait to see it. I cannot wait to see it.
This is one of those divisions, Rand, where I think 12 teams could win. 12 teams. Somebody could win 12 games and miss the playoffs because they're third in their division.
Yeah.
Because if you lose 3 games in your division, that still leaves you with 14 games. Could I see any of these teams then winning 10 to 11 more games outside of their division? Yeah, I could. They're that scary. Yes. And that would mean that a team could have 11 or 12 wins at the end of the year and not make it to the playoffs. Yet a team from the NFC least could win 9 games and go to, well, I don't think they'll win the division with 9 games this year. Maybe in years past. I think the Cowboys are set. Somebody said 12-5. I think that might have been Skip Bayless. I heard say that.
That's a bit too high, in my opinion.
I don't know. If you want to win that division, you're gonna have to. But I think if anybody gonna go 12-5, it's gonna be the Eagles. So just saying. And I don't even think they need to win 12. I think if they win 11, they'll be fine. I think they'll win the division with 11. I don't know about 10, but somebody from another division is going to win more games than the division winner in the NFC least and not make it to the playoffs. That's what's going to happen. That's a damn shame. I know for years they've talked about taking the top teams out of regardless of division and then reseeding and ranking them.
I hope they don't do that.
I hope they don't do that either. But they got to do something with this because remember the year where the Cowboys had a losing season went to the playoffs because they won their division, and you had teams winning 12 games sitting home. That was just, they should have forfeited that game. They had no right to play that game. I'm sorry. You should have forfeited the game. Gave somebody a bye that wasn't supposed to get a bye. That's just ridiculous. But yeah, so when you look at the Kansas City Chiefs, of course you got Patrick Mahomes, you got Chad Henne backing him up. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, this is his third year now?
Yeah.
So he should be good. Rojo is actually on the team as the fourth receiver. You got Juju Smith-Schuster, who's looking to have a second act in Kansas City. MVS, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, is also going to be joining him. You got McCole Hartman, and then you got Travis Kelce. You got some definite good weapons there. Yes, they're going to miss the Cheetah. You're going to miss Tyreek Hill, not so much because of him actually producing, which he did produce. You're going to miss him as the threat that he is to a defense.
Hell yeah.
Here's the living hell out of a defensive coordinator having to try to game plan against him.
Yep.
That's what you're going to miss more with Tyreek Hill. I think with Patrick Mahomes being the quarterback, throwing his little underhand passes and all that stuff to Juju Smith-Schuster, to MVS, to McCole Hartman, I think he'll be fine with that. Kelce, I think he'll be fine. They can mitigate some of that. Will they have the same production? No. But will it be enough to win most games? Sure. The only thing I ever worry about the Kansas City Chiefs, Rand, and I've said this for the last 3 years, they fall asleep.
Yeah, they do. They fell asleep in the AFC Championship game.
They get leads on people, and then somebody slips them some kind of little drug, and the next thing you know, they just sleepwalking through the game, and then they try to turn it on the last 4 minutes of the game and win. And I'm like, you can't keep doing that.
Yeah, it bit them in the AFC Championship. Everybody thought they were on their way to the Super Bowl.
If there was a team out there that is just known for putting their foot on the gas and flooring it, only to then take their foot completely off the gas and coast, it would be the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
I ain't seen a team do this since the Chicago Bulls. Chicago Bulls, year after year, when it be Michael, Scotty, and them, they be just playing around with everybody like a cat plays with a mouse for dinner. Just throwing them up in the air, playing with them, smacking them around and stuff. Knowing that at any given time, when we just really want to just go ahead and turn you off, we'll just do it. They did that, and I watched them do that, and it would drive me crazy. They went, I don't remember the record, 70 and 12 or whatever it was, something stupid.
72 and 10.
72 and 10, yeah. But they were playing with people, but they would still end up just beating them just because they were better. We're going to beat you because we're better, not because, okay, Yankees beat the Twins 5-4. Good. All right, doubleheader.
What? The Yankees scored 5 runs? I can't freaking believe it.
Aaron Judge hits home run number 55.
Awesome.
Which is crazy. Anyway, yeah. You can tell we're Yankee fans, y'all. So, yeah, go Yanks. Please close out the season the right way. Don't do what Atlanta did and caught the Mets. Oh, please don't let nobody catch the Yankees. But anyway, but yeah, so I think the Chiefs will be okay as long as Andy Reid keeps them motivated through the entire game. I think they could have a slip up if they do that this year, because the division, even though they're still, in my opinion, at the cream of the crop, there's a lot of others in the division that have been getting steadily better year after year. So the gap between first and second isn't as great as it ever was. Hell, the gap between first and third and the gap between first and fourth ain't what it used to be.
I'm glad you said that, because it's a perfect segue to what I was going to say. The gap between the Chiefs and the Chargers has never been closer.
That is right.
If you look at what the Chargers have done in this offseason, I mean, it has been fantastic. Their defense and offense is freaking loaded.
Seeing Justin Herbert in year number 3 with that offense.
Herbert did not slow down in his sophomore slump, supposed year. Didn't slow down at all. So I don't see him slowing down this year either.
Bro, for real.
The Chargers are freaking loaded, man. They just picked up my boy Sony Michel too.
Yes, I saw that.
Joshua Kelly
You
and
knew when he got cut, he wasn't going to be on the waivers that long. You already knew. He wasn't going to be on the waivers that long.
The Chargers are loaded, man.
They are loaded. They are loaded. You can get a little bit out of Gerald Everett from the tight end position. And then you got Mike Williams they brought back, re-signed him. Keenan Allen, Austin Eckler, Sony Michel. Nah. Don't get caught sleeping Kansas City because they'll come for you. And then you got the Raiders. Derek Carr has his college teammate, Mr. Devontae Adams. That'll be interesting to see. Derek Carr is one of the most underrated quarterbacks. Look, I've always said as a Carolina Panthers fan, we will give you Sam Darnold, PJ Walker, and as much weed as you can smoke for a year for Derek Carr.
Yeah, they don't appreciate him in LA, well, Las Vegas. But they
right. Yeah, Brett, send him to Carolina. I'll gladly take him.
Oh, yeah, hell yeah.
Gladly. I
was begging for him in Pittsburgh.
You do not have to compete for the starting job. You are day one starter. you know. But if they can keep Darren Waller healthy at the tight end position, he's wanting a new contract. So I expect him to ball out. He hired his pass agent and hired Drew Rosenhaus. So he about to get paid. Because that's how Drew Rosenhaus works. You're going to get paid. So Darren Waller is trying to play for a contract. Mac Hollins, if that name sounds familiar, from the University of North Carolina, is going to be a receiver there too. Hunter Renfrow, Devontae Adams. Man, then you got Josh Jacobs as a running back. They got rid of the other running back. Oh man, I just forgot his name.
Drake.
Kenyon Drake. Yeah. So they must really feel good about Josh Jacobs, or they just couldn't get a re-signing deal done. They're the best back that they have behind him, in my opinion. They have Zamir White listed as number 2, and then Brandon Bolden as number 3. They have Amir Abdullah as number 4. I've seen what Abdullah can do as a change of pace back, but I don't know what the other 2 guys can do. But sounds like Josh Jacobs is going to be the workhorse there. And Derek Carr. Yeah. He doesn't run a lot, but he can.
I like what the Raiders did defensively as well, man. They finally paid some attention to that side of the ball. Got Chandler Jones out of Arizona. This dude is a beast off the edge. So you got him paired with Max Crosby. That is a great 1-2 combination when it comes to the sack game.
I agree. You got the Denzel Perryman in the middle. Try to plug that up. Be a Mike linebacker. I like their additions too. So the Raiders are going to go into every game and be very competitive. If you get caught slipping, that's where they're going to get you. I think they're going to do better just from a coaching standpoint too. This team was utterly just discombobulated last year after everything that happened with Gruden, and they held it together and still put up some really good football. They had every reason and every excuse to fold. They had every reason. They could have easily folded and nobody would have batted an eye. They would have said, you know what, it was just a dumpster fire. It was just, they were just dealt a bad hand. But they did not let all of that noise from the outside affect them in the locker room, and they went out there and they performed at a high level. So I give props to the Raiders for what they did last year.
Yep. And we'll see what Josh McDaniels can bring to the table in year 1 as a head coach. Didn't fare so well in Denver.
Hopefully he learned a lot in New England in his time in the wilderness, going back home to New England for a while. So hopefully round 2 will definitely be better than his first crack at it.
Should be.
I think it will be.
Yep.
And then you got Denver Broncos, who got exceptionally better because they brought in Russell Wilson, and they just gave him a nice contract extension. I think it's now 7 years, which will get him out to 40 years old or something like that. A lot of upfront money. I think it was $165 million guaranteed or something around that. I
saw that. I was like, who the hell is his agent to pull off a deal like that? An extension. He ain't even played a game yet.
I ain't even snapped the ball one time. But you know what? It was a great move by the new owners. Denver just switched ownership a couple of weeks ago. The new owners came in there and said, you know what? Russell is going to be our guy for the unforeseen future. He's going to retire a Bronco to the likes of Peyton Manning and whatever else. Javonte Williams is going to be in his second year now out of North Carolina as the running back. Cortland Sutton is a year in. Jerry Jeudy, this is his year to really prove that he was worth the draft pick. KJ Hunter. So they've got a lot of good guys there too. I think, and Russell has always been a guy that has done a lot with less.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
I mean, I know TJ Lockett and DJ Metcalf were always underrated, but some of the passes that I used to see him throw to TJ Lockett, I was like, I don't even know if he saw him. He just knew where he was going to be. Because there's no way Russell is like 5'1". I'm just kidding. And there's a defensive lineman coming at him that's 6'4" that looks like there's an eclipse coming over him. He just launches the ball from the lowest angle he can throw it from to get it over the guy, and it just drops right in the basket of TJ Lockett as he's running down the side of the field. I've seen that play too many times to know he never saw him.
He's just a winner. He's just a winner.
Put it there, and he does. He just wins.
He's won every stop.
If you look at his size, you're like, there's no way this dude should be dominant. He should be okay, but he shouldn't be dominant.
Yep, he's won every single stop he's been at. NC State, Wisconsin, Seattle. He's won every place that he's been at. So we'll see if he could get the job done in Denver. But I ain't got
his problem is going to be the same problem that you find in the AFC North to an extent. You just got too many good teams.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Yeah. If you put the Denver Broncos in the NFC East,
they're winning it.
Every year. Every year.
They're winning it. Yeah.
If you put the Denver Broncos, oh my gosh. Hell, I think if you put them in the AFC South, they'd win the South.
Easily.
So it's, yeah, sometimes you just dealt a bad hand in some ways because of the division that you're in. But, man, I mean, they really they're going to be very competitive. They're going to be a hard out. So that's kind of our picks for the NFL season. Rand, who do you see as the top teams coming out of the NFC for the playoffs?
All right. So NFC in the East, I got Dallas. They're going to win the division. Mm-hmm. They're going to win their division. I got the Packers in the North. I got the Tampa Bay Bucks in the South. And over in the West, I got the Rams. The three playoff teams, or wild card teams, I should say, I have are the Vikings.
Okay.
Carolina.
Whoa!
And I also have the 49ers.
Okay. I like it. I agree with your division winners, except for Philadelphia in place of Dallas. And then for the three, I've got the 49ers for sure. I've got the Minnesota Vikings. God, I guess it does have to be Carolina if they come in second. If Carolina comes in second, it's Carolina. If they come in third, it's the Saints. So right. I see that too.
Yep.
I agree. Totally agree. Okay. AFC, who you got?
AFC. So in the East, of course, I got the Bills. In the North, since he showed me too much, I got them coming back and winning it again. Switching over to the South, I got the Colts. And then in the West, I got very close and very hard Kansas City again.
All right.
The three wild card teams, I got two coming out of the West. I got the Chargers and the Raiders. And then I got the Ravens coming out of the North.
I'm with you in a certain way. I've got all of your division. I got the Bills winning. I've got the Bengals winning. I've got Tennessee slightly ahead of Indianapolis still. I don't know what it is. I don't know why I'm that confident in Tannehill. I should not be. And then he's going to end up selling me out. I know it's going to end up being Indianapolis. And then I got I don't have Kansas City winning the West. I have the Chargers.
That's a good choice. That is
But
a good choice.
The funny thing is I have Kansas City winning, being one of the wild card teams, as well as the Raiders, as well as the Colts, not the Ravens.
I hope you're right.
But I still have Kansas City going to the AFC Championship game.
Okay, so AFC Championship. I got the Bills versus. I think I picked the Bills versus Kansas City.
That's what I got.
Yeah,
that's what I got.
With the Bills finally getting over the hump.
Same. What about NFC?
NFC, I have a repeat. I got the Rams making it all the way to the NFC Championship game, and I got them going against Green Bay.
Same.
With the Rams going to a second Super Bowl.
Same.
Yeah.
So we got the Rams and the Bills. The plays tomorrow. We're chalking them out through the whole season. So listen, NFL, you can cancel all the games because the first game that you're going to play is going to be the last game that we see in 2023.
That's what I think. Evidently, that's what you think too.
It is. Okay, that's easy enough. Any predictions on who would win it?
Oh man, I got the Bills this time, man. I just think they're ready. I think they're finally going to win home field advantage and be playing in cold weather, and that's going to be the downfall of whoever runs up through there. I think they're going to the Super Bowl, and I think they'll get a good 2-week rest and take out anybody coming out of the NFC.
I agree. Totally agree. Yes, sir. I totally agree with you on all of that. That is funny. Any predictions for Coach of the Year?
Man, Coach of the Year. You might see Dan Campbell in Detroit.
Bro, stop. That's who I got.
For real? Wow.
That is my Coach of the Year. Is Dan Campbell.
Get out of here.
I am dead serious. I've been sitting on that the whole show.
Wow.
Yes, I think that he has an up-and-coming team. I think they're going to do a lot better. This was a team that only a couple of years ago was 1-15, and you can just see the progress of this team. It's either I would have said Robert Saleh. I just don't know if the Jets will make enough of an improvement, but I can really see the upside of the Detroit Lions.
Yeah,
I really can. And adding Aiden Hutchinson isn't going to hurt their cause at all. I think Jared Goff is going to be a lot more productive, and if you can get 4,500 passing yards out of Jared Goff, then Dan Campbell should damn sure be the Coach of the Year. What about Defensive Player of the Year?
Oh, that's a tough one.
You going TJ. You know you're going TJ.
I am going to go TJ. I'm going to go TJ. Yeah.
Well,
He's
you know what?
If
they have a chance of really doing some damage in that division, he's going to have a lot to do with it. He's going to have a lot to say about it.
Hell yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. I don't see anything wrong with that. I think it's still. I hate to say it. I love the brother, but I hate his team. I love him. I think he is depending on how they use him. If they use him as a finger in the dirt defensive end, if they use him as a linebacker, maybe not so much. But if they use him as an end, there is nobody in this world that can stop Micah Parsons.
Yeah,
ain't gonna happen.
Dynamic dude. Dynamic. Yep.
Oh my God, it hurts. It hurts.
It does hurt.
I'm trying to be objective, Randy. It hurts because he plays for them damn Cowboys.
That is a draft pick that I got to give them credit for.
Brother's talent. He is. You know what? I hated the Cowboys when Emmett and Troy played, but I love Emmett and Troy and playmaker. I used to hate the Cowboys, but I still love certain guys on their team because I have much respect for them. Like me being a North Carolina Tar Heel fan, there were some Dukies that I actually liked because I liked the way they played. Most of them I didn't because they were a bunch of picks. But most of them, there were some of them I did like. I could never admit it because you're not supposed to.
I did too. I love Hurley.
Yeah,
I mean, sounds funny
all the
coming
guts.
from a Carolina guy.
Physically not assuming at all, but just put everything out there. And never was going to be a pro, but just was the best college player he could. What's not to love about that? That's like Rudy from Notre Dame. Like
Bobby Hurley was the man.
You're Rudy.
Bobby Hurley was the man.
Yeah. So I know I'm short, but who do you have for offensive player of the year?
Oh man! In order for the Bills to do what I think they're going to do, it's going to come down to that quarterback position, and going to come down to number 11. He's going to have to get it done. So if they go to the Super Bowl, I got him, Mr. Josh Allen, offensive player of the year.
Yep. And then my rookie defensive player of the year, I have is Aiden Hutchinson for Detroit. Rookie offensive player of the year, I actually have Chris Olave because I think Jameis Winston and him have found some chemistry in camp, and I think they're going to keep that going. I think Olave is going to run with it. It's going to be a receiver this year, I think. I don't see any other quarterbacks really doing it from a rookie standpoint unless Pickett gets in there early. But I can really see Olave as a receiver just doing damage all over that field. And I think he's going to have the Atlanta defense to torch twice to get some of those numbers. And they got some other teams outside the division that he's going to be hell. When you have to just have him line up on one side, Michael Thomas line up on the other side, or have a trip set where you got him, Landry, and Thomas out there at one time. Good luck with that.
My defensive rookie to keep an eye on. I don't know if he's going to win it. Keep an eye out for Mr. Sauce Gardner. We're going to see what.
I kept thinking about Sauce. I want to see if he can back up. I want to see if he can, if his mouth can cash them checks.
I want to see the same thing. And my offensive player of the year, and I hope I'm right on this. I probably am not right on this, but as a Steeler fan, I am hoping Mr. Kenny Pickett bring it home to us. Bring it home to us.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that pick. That is actually a good pick, provided that he gets in before game 4 or 5. If he does, I do see that being a possible thing. So, hey, it's going to be a great season. We ran through all 32 teams leading up until tomorrow night's game. Hope y'all have fun watching that game. I'm going to be glued to the TV. We'll make more of our regular season picks on the next show. We're just running over, and I know it's just a lot to cover with all the teams and stuff and the recaps, but we will get to it. We appreciate y'all for hanging out with us. I'm Brian Parker with my co-host, Mr. Randall Hargrove. See y'all for another season. Football is here, baby. Football is here, baby.
Woo!
See y'all later. Peace.